Stop what you're doing right now. What I'm about to show you will change everything you thought you knew about power. In 1960, two men stepped onto a stage. Within seconds, without saying a single word, one man had already won the presidency. The other, he lost 70 million votes in those first few moments of silence. That man was John F. Kennedy, and he knew a secret that 99% of people will never understand. Here's the disturbing truth they don't want you to know. Every conversation you've ever had, every deal you've ever lost, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, it wasn't because of what you said. It was because of what you didn't know about the invisible language of power. Listen carefully. 93% of all human communication happens before you even open your mouth. That means right now, as you're listening to this, your body is screaming messages about your status, your wealth, your success. And most people are broadcasting weakness without even knowing it. But what if I told you that the wealthiest 1% have been using 7 psychological triggers to manipulate every room they enter? What if I told you these triggers are so powerful they can make people hand you money, respect, and opportunities without you saying a single word? Today, you're going to learn the 7 pillars of silent domination. The same techniques that built empires, closed billion-dollar deals, and created generational wealth. But I'm warning you now. Once you see how this works, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing these patterns everywhere. In your boss, in successful people around you, and you'll realize why you've been losing. Are you ready? Because pillar number 1 will shock you. Pillar 1, the instant status hack. Right now, stop and look at how you're sitting or standing. I guarantee you're doing it wrong. Here's why this matters. Harvard researchers discovered something terrifying. In just 2 minutes, you can literally reprogram your brain for success or failure. They took people and made them hold power poses for exactly 120 seconds. What happened next blew their minds. Testosterone spiked 19%. Stress hormones dropped 25%. But here's the part that'll make your jaw drop. When these people walked into job interviews, they were 4 times more likely to get hired. 4 times. From 2 minutes of standing differently. But most people do the opposite. They shrink, they contract. They send signals that scream, "I'm weak, ignore me, pay me less." And the world responds accordingly. Here's your first weapon. Before any important meeting, conversation, or negotiation, find a private space. Stand with your feet apart, hands on your hips, chin up. Do this for exactly 2 minutes. Feel your body claiming space. Feel your confidence rising. This isn't just posture. This is biochemical warfare against your own limitations. But that's just the beginning. Pillar 2 is where things get dangerous. Pillar 2, the millionaire's secret weapon, strategic silence. This technique is so powerful, it's almost unfair. Most people are terrified of silence. They fill every gap with nervous chatter, desperate for approval. But here's what separates the wealthy from everyone else. They weaponize silence. Watch what happens in any negotiation. The person who speaks first after stating a price loses every single time. But this goes deeper than money. Silence creates psychological pressure that most people can't handle. When you're comfortable in the quiet, you force others to reveal their desperation, their weaknesses, their true motivations. I'm going to teach you 3 silence techniques that will change your life. First, the confirmation pause. When someone makes a statement, count to 3 before responding. Watch them squirm. Watch them start explaining themselves. Watch them give you information they never intended to share. Second, the decision pause. When asked any question, pause as if you're considering something far more important. This communicates that your mental bandwidth is valuable, that you have bigger things on your mind. Third, the power pause. In group settings, let others fill the silence while you observe. You become the calm center while chaos swirls around you. People will start looking to you for approval, for guidance, for permission. But here's the psychological trigger most people miss. Your silence makes others work harder to earn your attention, and what people work for, they value more. Ready for Pillar 3? This one's about to get intense. Pillar 3, the eye contact assassin. Your eyes are weapons, but most people are shooting blanks. Weak eye contact says, "Please like me, please approve of me, please don't hurt me." But powerful eye contact, it says something completely different. It says, "I'm deciding if you're worth my time." University of California researchers made a shocking discovery. People who maintain steady eye contact are automatically perceived as more competent, more confident, and more likely to be leaders. But here's the advanced technique they don't teach you. The triangle method. Instead of staring directly into someone's eyes like a psychopath, create an invisible triangle between their eyes and mouth. Move your gaze slowly within this triangle. This maintains intensity without triggering their fight or flight response. But listen to this carefully. Never, ever break eye contact first during crucial moments. When you're shaking hands, making a point, or receiving important information, maintain that contact until they look away. You're establishing who has the power in this interaction. And here's the ultimate power move. Occasionally look away as if something more important just occurred to you, then slowly bring your attention back. This subtle shift communicates that your focus is valuable real estate and they need to earn it. But we're just getting started. Pillar 4 is where territorial psychology gets scary. Pillar 4, the space domination game. Every room has power positions, and most people choose the weakest spot without realizing it. Where you position yourself isn't just about comfort, it's about status, control, and psychological dominance. Here's what the powerful know. In meetings, take the head of the table or the position with your back to the wall. In conversations, never face someone directly unless you're confronting them. In groups, position yourself where you can see everyone but can't be easily surrounded. Winston Churchill was obsessed with this. He would literally rearrange furniture before important meetings to ensure he held the power position. Roosevelt did the same thing. They understood something most people never learn. Your position in space communicates your position in the hierarchy. But here's the deep psychology. For thousands of years, controlling territory meant survival. These ancient instincts still control modern humans, but they operate below conscious awareness. When you master spatial positioning, you're tapping into prehistoric programming that bypasses rational thought. Arrive early. Choose your seat strategically. Use the 18-inch rule to stay in the influence zone without invading personal space. Stand when others sit during key moments. You're not just taking up space, You're claiming psychological territory. Are you starting to see the pattern? Every interaction is a battle for status, and most people are losing before they even realize they're fighting. Pillar 5 is where things get manipulative. Pillar 5, the mirroring trap. Everyone knows about mirroring, but they're doing it backwards. Amateur-level mirroring is copying what someone does. Professional-level mirroring is knowing when not to mirror. Here's the secret. Subtle mirroring builds rapport, but strategic mismatching establishes dominance. When someone leans forward eagerly, you lean back calmly. When they speak quickly with nervous energy, you slow down and speak with measured confidence. When they gesture frantically, you remain perfectly still. UCLA research revealed something shocking. When high-status individuals deliberately mismatch lower-status individuals, it actually increases their perceived authority. You're sending a subconscious message that says, "I don't need to adapt to you. You need to adapt to me." But here's the advanced manipulation. Start with mirroring to build comfort and trust, then gradually shift to mismatching to establish hierarchy. This transition is incredibly powerful because it's happening completely below their conscious awareness. They feel the shift in power dynamics, but they can't identify why. Ready for Pillar 6. This one separates amateurs from masters. Pillar 6. The delayed response weapon. Powerful people never react. They respond. And there's a massive psychological difference that most people don't understand. When you react immediately to news, compliments, or challenges, you're communicating that other people control your emotional state. But when you pause, process, and then respond, you're demonstrating that you operate on your own timeline. From a neuroscience perspective, this pause allows your prefrontal cortex to override your amygdala. You're literally choosing logic over emotion, executive function over reactive impulse. Steve Jobs was a master of this. When presented with new ideas, he would often say, "Nothing for long, uncomfortable moments, just staring." This created desperate hunger for his approval and made everyone work harder to meet his standards. Here's your tactical advantage. When receiving offers, always say, "Let me consider this." When complimented, pause before saying thank you. When challenged, take a visible breath before responding. When surprised, maintain your expression for 3 full seconds. You're training the world to understand that your thoughts, your decisions, your reactions, they're not available on demand. But Pillar 7? This is where you become dangerous. Pillar 7. The energy vampire technique. This is the ultimate manipulation. Most people absorb the energy of whatever room they enter. But masters, they impose their energy on everyone else. This is called reverse emotional contagion, and when you master it, you become the psychological center of gravity in any interaction. Before entering any space, decide your energy level. Then maintain that energy no matter what chaos you encounter. Use your voice tone, your breathing, your movement to set the pace for everyone else. Never let external drama disturb your internal calm. Warren Buffett is the perfect example. In chaotic market conditions, his calm presence influences entire boardrooms. His energy communicates, "I've seen this before. I know how to handle it, and if you follow my lead, you'll be safe." But here's the warning. This only works if your energy comes from genuine competence. You can't fake confidence forever. The foundation has to be real. Now here's where this gets really interesting and profitable. Stanford Graduate School of Business discovered that people with executive presence earn 23% more than equally qualified peers. But that's just the beginning. When you project silent power, investors take you seriously without you having to prove anything. Clients pay higher fees without negotiation. Employees perform better under your leadership. Partners offer you better deals. Opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. I watched a real estate investor walk into a room of potential partners. He said almost nothing for 10 minutes. Just observed, nodded occasionally, asked one insightful question. By the end of the meeting, 3 millionaires wanted to work with him. Why? Because his presence communicated competence and success better than any PowerPoint presentation ever could. This creates what I call the wealth magnet effect. As people perceive you as powerful and successful, they treat you that way, which creates real opportunities for wealth building. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle of success. But here's the key most people miss. These aren't separate tricks. They're components of an integrated system of power projection. You need all 7 pillars working together. Start with one technique. Master it completely over 2 weeks. Then add the next. Within 90 days, this becomes your natural way of being, and people won't be able to identify why you seem so much more successful and influential. Here's your reality check. In a world where everyone is talking, the person who has mastered powerful silence stands out like a lighthouse in the fog. These techniques aren't just about manipulation. They're about authentic power projection that reflects your inner competence and confidence. But I'm going to challenge you right now. Choose one technique from this video and practice it in every single interaction this week. Document what you notice. Watch how people respond to you differently. Watch how opportunities start appearing. Because here's the final truth. Most people will listen to this and do nothing. They'll go back to their weak posture, their nervous chatter, their reactive behavior. They'll keep losing negotiations, missing opportunities, and wondering why success feels so elusive. But you now have access to the same psychological weapons used by billionaires, world leaders, and master negotiators. The question is, what are you going to do with this power? The choice is yours. But choose quickly. Because every moment you wait is another moment your competition is getting ahead. True power doesn't need to announce itself. It simply is. And now, so are you.